Hello and welcome back to the Conscious Contact podcast. I'm here with my friend Mark Johnson.
Hey.
And he's a returning guest. You've been on before. You were one of my first interviews.
Nice.
It's been, I think, a year and a half ago at this point.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I love it, though.
I still can't believe that I've kept up with it for this long.
That is a time. That is a time. Like a year and a half, and you've changed the setup.
Yeah.
Made some, edits, gotten more into it.
Oh,
which
yeah.
lets me know you're enjoying the space.
Oh, yeah. It's been a ton of fun. And again, like the whole point is to be able to talk to people and have like real conversations,
Right.
which our like group normally does when we hang out anyway.
Yeah, it's fun for a bit, but then like when we sit down and we're chilling or a boring fight is on,
Yep.
we start talking about the world.
Start getting into it.
Yeah, we're in a different place now. It's weird because I don't see us younger really talking about world stuff.
Mm-mm.
I see us talking more personal stuff.
Yeah.
But now I kind of feel like everybody's in like good places.
Yeah.
And we're older.
Yeah.
And some people have kids. Some people are just in different positions financially. And now it's kind of like, yo, the world's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why I'm scared that the world's going to do something. And I'm over here working. It was like when Luke had tweeted something about like the interest rates on mortgages and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it was like, if you had bad credit, you were getting looked out for. If you had good credit,
you're getting penalized.
right.
For it.
And I was like, so you mean to tell me
Did
after
all this work.
a decade of terrible credit,
Yeah.
I finally get serious, I get right, and now I gotta hold the L. I was holding the L for a decade.
Yeah.
Where was you then?
Yeah. The world's crazy right now.
I'm so confused.
Me too. I try not to really think about it too much, honestly, because like a lot of that isn't real life. And I talk about this with people frequently. And like, yes, I have strong opinions about certain things. I vote certain ways on certain issues, whatever. But at the same time, like most of it does not affect my day-to-day life.
Oh yeah,
unless I let it.
Yeah.
Unless I get upset about it.
Yeah.
Be that type of person.
I think like the only things that really make me think is like when it comes to kids and education.
Yes.
I was telling wifey the other day, I was like, it's hard to believe that, as my daughter who just turned 10.
Yeah.
That by the time she gets to high school, there's a possibility there might be bulletproof glass in the entrance. Because even now, I remember taking her into kindergarten. I could just walk into school. It was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was no big deal.
No one checks you.
But now, like, you got to buzzer in. You got to have an ID. You have to sign in.
Which I think is a move in the right direction.
Yes.
That piece, at the very least, especially for young kids.
Right.
And you never know if parents split up and then one parent tries to come get the kid and like all of those issues too. I think it's kind of smart. I mean, that's the most vulnerable part of our population.
Right.
And having a little bit more of a check and balance system on who the hell is coming into the school. Great idea. But no, I completely get it. Even back when I was in, I guess it was late middle school, I went to an inner city school and you had to have clear backpacks and you wore uniforms. Yep. And you walked through metal detectors when you came to the school. It was a huge school, 20,000 kids.
For one school?
Yes. It was enormous. And this is just middle school in downtown Montgomery, or like right outside downtown Montgomery.
6th through 8th or 6th through 9th?
Yeah, 6th through 8th. Yeah. And
20,000?
5% of the school was white. The rest was minority.
Jeez,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So it was a learning experience. I'm grateful for that, obviously, because prior to that, I'd gone to Millbrook, which is a smaller, like, suburban community, and there was not a lot of diversity.
Right.
So it was like culture shock for sure, but it taught me a lot about the world is not like this sweet little bubble.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had to stand up for myself. I got in fights all the time. Wearing a uniform was different. I had kooky colored hair at that point. I was like the weird girl.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I was weird before it was cool. Yeah.
You were weird. Yeah.
Oh,
There was a time when being weird was not cool.
Or sexy or any,
Yeah, like you were the outcast.
You were just weird.
Yeah, you were, as Michael B. Jordan found out, you were corny.
Yeah.
As they would call it, to not be wanting to be what everyone else was. And then
and now
you see
it's the thing to do.
You see what sometimes it leads you.
Yeah. Think about, like, I always think about, like, you and Luke and Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day.
Oh, God.
Y'all would be, like, the most popular people at school now, being into anything vaguely Asian.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because when I would play it in school, we were outside the auditorium in like the little cut area.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I would have gym. I was a jock, you know, wrestle, play football, did track, lettered in all of them, you know, conference player, awards. I was really good at it.
Yeah.
And during gym, my coach was like, hey, I don't want you running around doing this, that, and the other. So I would be playing chess on the bleachers with the other guys who he wants to do stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, I remember one time he was like, all right, they were going to flunk because they were in the IB program or whatever. And he was like, they were like, you know, well, like, you know, we don't really want to do this, want to do that. So we made like a compromise that 2 days a week they would actually participate in men's team sports. And the other 3 days we would play chess.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want me to do anything ever. So I was like, and so I would go from playing chess with them because, of course, some of them play Yu-Gi-Oh! And so then before football practice, I had like 30 minutes to an hour, and we'd be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In front of the auditorium.
Damn.
And it was so weird to be in both worlds and not really get why people had problems with people who play chess or why they were like, how can this person who plays chess, which I love, be a nerd, but I'm cool? Yeah. Like, it's the same thing.
The politics of that are, really interesting.
Because like, what were you doing? I was over there playing with, I think his name was Cameron. He was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever. And my boy was like, yeah, that dude weird.
Yeah. You're like, what are you,
but
what about me?
Am I weird? No. I'm just saying, he weird. So what am I then?
Exactly.
Because you telling me he weird when I just say I was hanging out with him for the last hour.
Yeah.
About to be late for practice, but he weird.
Yeah.
But I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
it is kind of like that broader idea of people don't really understand other groups unless they've been a part of it. There's always going to be outside judgment.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you are exposed to that and can be able to understand, like, they're just another human like me. They just have different interests.
I mean, because to be fair, going into playing chess with the IB kids, being a jock was very, you know how to play chess? I'm like, yeah.
Exactly. It goes both ways. Yeah.
To play with them, which I learned how to play like prison house chess, which is like you touch it, you move it. So to play with them and to have like probably a more aggressive tone and not understand strategies or movements. So like, oh, you're going with this strategy. I don't know what that means.
I'm just playing.
Or they would be like, you know, knight like E4. I don't know what that means. I just know a knight moves in L's and moves this way. I know how to pressure this, that. Oh, you're going with this trade strategy. I have no earthly idea the techniques in which you're saying that I'm using and what, oh, you're going with this opener. I don't know what any of that means. I know how to play chess. I know how to move. I know how to counter. I know how to think critically in these situations.
Yeah.
But the terminology, I haven't a clue what's going on.
Because you weren't of that world. Yeah.
Right. But then like after like playing, you know, and them just seeing like, oh, you know, we used to beat them. Now all of a sudden we're drawing. Now all of a sudden he's winning. Now we're drawing more. Now we hardly ever beat him. It's kind of like one of those things like, I didn't know you could be smart. I'm like, playing chess makes you smart?
Yeah.
I learned this from a dude who was in prison.
Yeah.
Like my uncles were in prison and this is what they did. I didn't know this was a sign of being intelligent.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a game.
Yeah.
And that's the simplicity of it to me was this is a game I play with family. Y'all play. I want to play. But they're like, oh, no, that means your IQ's probably this, your IQ's that. I'm like,
whatever.
Yeah.
You're not playing it for that reason. You're playing it out of genuine enjoyment.
Yes, because I thought it was a fun game. Like thinking is fun. I didn't know it meant that you're supposed to be smart. Well, have you ever tried to test for IB? Bro, I'm trying to play football.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
I'm not trying to get I don't study as it is. I'm not trying to get extra work.
Shit,
like because you thinking like, oh, you're so smart. You should yeah, whatever. Let's just get on this board and let's play.
It just goes to show you like you're gonna be ignorant on certain things until you are actually in that situation or you're exposed to someone who looks at the world differently than you or had a different childhood than you or, you know, has lived a different life than you. You're never going to really be able to truly understand that. Like, I'll never be able to understand somebody that grew up with both parents in the house. You know what I mean?
You know something? And this is what we were talking about earlier when I got here.
Yeah.
Why do some people want what they don't have? And so why would you want a harder life to fit in?
I think it's the same thing that we're kind of talking about. Like, the grass is always greener. If you're a nerd and you look at I mean, this is a very different example, but it's the same thing at the end of the day. You see a different lifestyle and you're like, oh, that looks interesting to me because I haven't experienced it. I don't know what goes into getting that life. I don't know what that life really means. So you look at it and you're like, well, that's different than what I have. And I don't like my life currently.
Right.
So let me try that one on for size.
See, but I think like and once again, you're not supposed to judge your book by its cover.
Oh, yeah.
But I would just assume 2 would be better than 1 if we were talking about a parent household. Now,
Yes.
there could be a lot of things going on, but I'm just thinking from like a looking
That
at
is
it
a
with
solid.
yes. There's
Yes.
2 of them and
Mhm.
there's 1 of you.
Yes.
So obviously, if I just take what you have and double it, it would be better.
Yeah.
So why would I ever want to take
Disadvantage myself.
the 1
Yeah.
so I know what it's like?
Yeah.
Like I could just assume if I lost half of what I currently have,
yeah.
it's worse.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, like there's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, even like if it's like domestic abuse or expectations, or even if it's not necessarily good,
the best relationship,
right, it would still be better.
Yeah. On the surface, you're still going to be starting off on a better foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, even if it's not great, just on the surface, it's going to be better because there's 2 versus there's 1.
Exactly.
Now the 2 might be terrible people.
Could be. Yeah.
But the 1 is going to have struggles you can't imagine because there's only 1.
Exactly. That's a completely different ballgame.
They have to manage, like, and just from a child's perspective, you have to manage. They still have to manage adulting.
Yeah.
Which is bills and you, the child. And then from a child's perspective, your time. They have to also manage your time because there's not always after school sports. Sometimes there's sports that have to take you to after school. There's a huge difference between you stay on school grounds and go do your activities versus I have to leave work. I have to get off early, take you to this thing, have to stay there to make sure nothing crazy happens, then bring you home, then feed you, then do like those are 2 different worlds.
Yes.
So it's like, and like if people are wondering like where I'm gonna bring this up, it's the John Morant situation.
Yeah, you're telling me about that.
Him wanting to be a thug when he came from a 2-parent household, went to a private school, and is worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do you want to be what I had told Sheree this? I know people who have been to prison, federal prison, and are staying forever. It's never going away.
Yep.
Trust me when I say it's not great.
It's not glamorous.
Like it looks cool if you're like comparing battle scars, I guess, if you want to tell someone, my badge of honor is I've been to federal prison. I don't necessarily think they give you a round of applause or a cookie. No. But I guess if you're hanging around those people who want to
if you're hanging around that type of people,
Right. Yeah. So like to chase the lifestyle that leads, once again, we're not talking about jail.
Yeah.
We're talking about prison.
Yeah.
Like where you're in there with murderers,
rape and murder.
rapists,
Yeah.
people who are never seeing the light of day again. Like you in there.
Yeah.
Why would you, in his position, $100 million, one of the highest paid,
great life,
highest paid NBA players there, 23.
That's just so I don't get it.
2-parent household.
Yeah.
Dads at your games, moms at your games, little brothers at your games. You got a daughter. Like, and you would give it up to appear to the world like you're tough.
Yeah. Which is like so misguided. I think it's a disease of the greater societal issues that we're having right now.
Okay.
So the erosion of the 2-parent household leads you to seek fame, recognition, and nods from other men that you are masculine in different ways. So that's either going to lead you to being a fighter, being involved in shady shit that you think you're going to get recognition for, or really anything else, being a man whore, being whatever.
Right.
You're going to be looking for validation in other ways because you're not wanting to stay with your baby mama. You're not wanting to raise your child. You're kind of shirking all of the traditional roles that a man would have. So when you do that, you have to fill that need for recognition as a man with other stuff. And especially if you don't have like a God or religion in your life, you're going to look in the wrong places. You're going to look for validation, at least from what I've seen and experienced with not my partner, thank God, but other men in general.
Right.
You're going to look to fill that need for kudos in really crappy ways.
Because I think of it, and it's something I tell my little sister. So, backstory. In my family, I was the first one to graduate. My mom was the first one as well. I was the first one to attend college. Didn't finish. And I was the first one to ever start a business. So for me, like once I got to a certain point, once I realized I'm not thinking how they're thinking, because my mom is a very go to work, do your job, work for 40 years, retire. And I was very like, I've always ventured for other ways because that just didn't seem fun.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
don't know what's right. It just didn't seem like fulfilling. It didn't seem like there
Yeah.
was just like a weird thing that happened with me at some point where I wanted not to be rich, but I wanted to my life to have some sort of impact.
Yeah, you had aspirations to
Right.
potentially make your children's lives better than
Yes,
yours.
yes, yes. Because I'm
Yes.
like, I know what my mom couldn't do because of time
Yes.
restraints, and
Yep.
then also knows what my sister what she now could do
Yeah.
because now she was married in the 2-parent household.
Yeah.
So there was a time there when I was like, I had listened to someone who's like, sometimes you're the one in the family.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, this is the pressure that comes with being the one. Sometimes of you have to. I don't get the same leisure
Mm-hmm.
to fuck around.
Yeah.
Like I just can't. Like I can't be out here ripping around the streets. I can't do this because I have a little sister
Yeah.
and I have my own kids who are like looking at me as like, why are you doing everything so different?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I want them to look to that. So now I look at my sister
Yeah.
and 4.0 GPA,
Yeah.
all these scholarships to go to school, got offered full rides from several different colleges. And I've told her, you're the one. And she's like, what does that
Yeah.
mean? I'm like, when you look at this family, there comes a time when someone's special.
Yeah.
I'm like, and you're called to be special. I'm like, and there's pressure, there's
Yeah.
expectations, there's accountability going to have to be held. I'm like, but you can choose to accept it or not accept it. I always say accept it because what it'll do for you is monumental in a like just family tree historical way
Yes.
of where the future of this family
Yeah.
is going.
Yeah.
And you played a part in it. Like once again, you don't get a pat on the back. There's no
Yeah.
cookie for this.
No.
You do it for you
Yeah.
because you want better.
Yes.
And so when I look at the Ja Morant situation, it's like you were the one.
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't want to be.
Yeah. And that is the case for some people. I totally see that happening. A couple of years ago, there was that big push for it's a great push from the outside looking in, worrying about athletes' mental health and their necessity to perform. But then you see there was this, it went way too far in that direction. There was all these athletes like, I'm not going to do the interviews after my matches because it makes me depressed or sad or like it hurts my mental health. I'm like, you chose this job. This is part of it. You don't get to make hundreds of millions of dollars and it be easy. And I think that's part of the bigger issue that we have. We're telling people it's going to be easy. We're telling them to assume that it should be easy and that it's going to be fun and great. And that's not how this works.
No. It's like when they say like I heard someone say like the coal mine analogy.
Oh.
When it was like you think they're going down there to oppress women? It's like no, they're going down there because that's what's required.
Yes.
When villages would send out hunting parties of men, and the wives will understand that there's a chance he not gonna come back. That's what was like. There was no supermarket. That's what is required to get to survive.
Survival. Yeah. And it is easy for us now because we don't have to try that hard to survive.
Right.
Like,
there's so many things in place.
If you're in the lowest economic class, there are still, you can have a roof over your head and food in your mouth.
Yes.
With government program assistance and being able to have, like, even if you do have a minimum wage job, you're going to survive. Are you going to thrive? No. Absolutely
But
not.
you're making it day to day.
You're going to live, like, even if you're homeless, move to California. You'll be well taken care of.
$800 a month or something like that, plus food stamps.
Yeah, but it's this narrative that it comes from like the influencer era. At least that's my opinion.
Okay.
We're telling people all you have to do is be you, and that's good enough. And if people don't like it, they can get over it. And your opinion matters the most out of anyone in the world, and your struggle is the worst struggle that's ever going to have happened. Ooh. And that's all that I see just get replayed like you are the most important person in the world. That's what people get fed to them.
See, I was with that in the beginning. You are important. Your opinion does matter.
But
I don't think it is the most important.
Exactly. That's the issue. Yeah. We've swung too far in that self-acceptance direction. We've told people not only is it okay for you to be you, we've gone past that and we're saying no matter who you are and how shitty of a human you are, that's okay.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't strive to be better even if you're not a shitty human. We've told them, no, it's okay. Accept yourself for who you are. You don't need to be better.
Is that because we lost the right to shame people?
Yes.
Because
in the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
I learned from critique. I've been coached since I was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
I've been wrestling or doing some type of sport. I've always been critiqued. I went from my wrestling story as a freshman. I won 3 matches and out of 50.
Mm.
And the 3 wins I did have were forfeits, so they just didn't have nobody for me to wrestle. Into my sophomore year, after doing wrestle camp, I went 500, so I was like 25 and 25. Into my junior year, when I was like 36-2.
Yeah.
So I've always, as long as it makes sense, right? It can't
Yes.
just be you're bad
Yeah.
and then just walk
You
out.
need to give me
Right,
concrete
but it's
things.
like, hey, right here you gave up. Right here you could have done this better. Right here you're not strong enough. We need to get you in
Yes.
order. Like, critique to me always makes sense on how to get better.
Yeah.
Because when I look at life, I've only gotten better from critique. I can't point out a single time, even when I was at my best,
Yep.
where a coach was like, oh, I have nothing to give you.
Yeah.
Like, I can never remember a time from watching wrestling film or watching football film where a coach was like, you got 100. You didn't do a single thing wrong.
Yeah, because that would be a disservice to you.
Yes, there was always something. Even when I would have a problem because it would be so small, like, what are your feet doing right here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take 3 points off your grade. Oh,
Yeah.
you only got a 92. And then he's pointing out why they're wrong. I'm like, this stuff is so small. Like, what? Like, at the time, being young, you don't really get it. But then when I look at how the 92 went to a 93, or how the one loss, well, the one win turned into 30, it always came from, you need to do this better. You need to do this better. You need to, let's help you. Let's put these things. So I love critique. Like, give it to me. Now, I might not be the most open to it when it's
same.
But give me a day or two.
I
Let me
digest
process through it.
Yeah.
Let me look at it, and then I can get better. So I've never been against a critique. So I don't understand how all people don't work like that when it's good intention, right? When it's good intention. Now, someone just tearing you down and a hater, that's completely different. But when it's someone who you value, someone who you hold in a high regard, and they're telling you, hey, these things that you're doing aren't helping you.
Yeah.
How dare you just say, whatever, you a hater?
Yeah.
Like, but you hold this person in some type of regard. You have some type of respect. You look at them. Like, I've always said, the greatest thing you can have in life is being coachable.
Yes, I agree. No, I talk about that all the time because it's so important. As humans, we do not learn through the good times. We learn through the struggle.
Yes.
We learn through failure. And I mean, truly, like, that's where you learn your biggest lessons.
Yes.
You don't learn just by like coasting through life and everything's great. Because if you're not doing anything that you could get better at, why would you try?
Yeah.
Why
If you start off 100, what's the point?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think part of that is I don't think people have those people in their lives very much. I think they look to social media, and that's where they look for their peers.
That's not real, though.
I know.
Social media is not real.
People don't get it. They don't understand.
As a person who has blatantly done things wrong, social media will tell you you're good.
Yeah.
Because someone out there's always someone that agrees with you, and you always flock to the people that agree with you. Whether you mean to cultivate that community or not, they just come to you.
Yeah.
And the ones who don't agree with you kind of fall away, but the ones who do rise to the top.
Yeah.
So eventually,
and they co-sign everything you do.
Yes. Yeah. Like you can't be successful with nothing but yes men.
Yeah. No. I mean, that is the downfall of society, in my opinion, is when we don't have any kind of constructive criticism for anyone. Like, you can't tell anyone, hey, you are morbidly obese, you should probably lose weight or you're going to die young.
Right.
Can't say that anymore.
But that's such a help, though.
I know. But see, this is, again, like,
it's not personal attack. It's just, I don't want, if anything, it's saying, I don't want you to die.
Yes, exactly. And we took something that was so good, this self-acceptance idea, because I do think that's important. Love yourself no matter what, but have higher aspirations for your life. You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to just stay in that place? Like, I was an alcoholic. If everyone around me, I surrounded myself with people that either didn't know or they drank like me and they thought it was fine.
Right.
So until I had the world fall out from under me and I had consequences, I would never change. Why would I?
Yeah.
If I'm not having anything bad happen.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
So that can apply to something bad. If I'm out here getting tore from the floor up every weekend and nothing bad is happening, why should I ever stay sober?
Exactly. And I think that's the piece that we miss. Like, people looked at it like, oh, you should be able to accept yourself for where you're at, because it takes time to grow.
Yeah.
So you are going to have to accept yourself in the messy spot.
Yeah.
But we turned that into, you can stay messy forever, girl. It's fine. They just don't accept you for who you are.
And you know what? And it's such a crazy idea because it's very selective.
It is.
Like, you would never tell an abusive father, it's cool to stay abusive. You would never tell, you know, a pedophile, it's cool, you can't help yourself.
Some people would.
Well,
some people would.
On social media.
On social media.
They you understand what I'm saying? And then even still, like, when you have like different ideas from different parties, no other party says to the other person, you know what, it's cool, just keep that ideology.
Yeah.
They always try to pick it apart. So it's like, why are we so as I said, why are we playing Bible with the world? Why are you picking certain scriptures that fit the situation to now insert to try to do something with me, when all of a sudden, if I was you know, morbidly obese, I would have 10 million people saying, you stay big, you die young, you can be healthy fat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's what look, as I was telling you earlier, I took a spill, and 300-pound spill was a whole lot different than 240 spill. So yeah, it hurt a lot different. True, it's 10 years apart in age, but I don't think I would have done the double roll.
Yeah.
I think the double roll is because of the 60 extra pounds.
Well, it's the issue with ideologies versus critical thinking. Mm-hmm. Ideologies are what is making us pick and choose. It's what's popular. Whatever's popular, that's what we're going to get behind. That's what we're going to say. Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't question it. Don't whatever. And then as soon as that trend changes, because they are trends, then everyone's like, oh, we might have gone too far. Hold on a second.
So it's like, if you were going into a curve too far and you overcorrected and flipped the car, now you realize, oh
shit,
I shouldn't have yanked it. The curve wasn't that bad.
Exactly.
The curve was not as bad as I thought it was.
It's an overcorrection, and that's the part that like hurts my heart. Is it always starts off from a good place,
good intentions.
Yeah,
like participation awards.
Yes,
it started off for good intentions. Because I grew up with, like, there were times in wrestling I threw away bronze medals because I felt wrong, and my mom hated it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, I put in all this work. I put in, which, as I said, competitive spirit is a double-edged sword.
It is.
It can carve you into an asshole, can carve you to an amazing person who understands that when you do your best, you might not get what you feel you deserve, but that's okay because you just have to keep working for it. Or the overcorrection of it is, the world's against me. Everybody's cheating me.
Yeah.
The refs are rigged. My dad's going to fight the ref after the game. It's going to turn into that.
Yeah.
Like, all that to me is in the competitive spirit sport.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to forge that, to do your best and be fine with the outcome.
But that takes parents. That takes parents supporting you.
I've always said, if your parent has always been a loser and now you're a winner, they don't know how to coach you, because they don't know what it's like. And I see this in a lot of my friends who now have children in high school who play sports, and then I see it on Facebook, and I'm like, you're acting like this because you don't know what it's like to be on that field.
Oh, damn.
I had saw a message on Facebook, and the kid was saying how the fans aren't real fans because they were leaving the game early, this, that, and the other. And, you know, no disrespect, his dad was co-signing him. Hey, look, I'm loyal like that. You know, we're going to go down with the ship together. But my take from it was, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
We're on the field, we're losing. I need you to focus on your brothers and moms.
Exactly.
I need you to talk to your team. I need you to rally the troops.
Well, that's good coaching versus bad coaching.
Right. But dad is like, yo, he's right. And it's like, see, dad has never been on that field.
Dad's not the coach. Dad's there to help your mental health.
Yeah.
Dad is not there to help you in the game.
Right. Like, dad doesn't know what it's like to be down in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left. Because dad didn't play. Yeah. He doesn't know that feeling. He doesn't know that experience. He, as great of a man as he may be, cannot guide you in this moment because he's never been in this moment.
I think that you hit the nail on the head with the first piece of that, and I think that's what's missing. That's what's not being taught to kids is you could be extremely skilled. You could have natural ability. You could train every day. You could do your absolute best, and you might lose still.
Michael Jordan lost.
Yeah, a lot. Most people that achieve greatness do, because that is how they learn. And the whole point is you fall and you get back up. Period. You have to learn that grit, determination,
resilience,
fortitude. You know what I mean? And that, I think that is what I see is missing. And I say that as someone that struggles with it myself, because I'm still on that cusp as well. Like, the participation thing was a big That is my whole childhood. I saw it for other people.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I had a lot of anger. So I used that in the sport that I played.
Right.
And
What sport?
Soccer.
Oh, okay.
I didn't play long because, again,
still got good
single,
knees.
Oh, yeah. Single parent home. So
Right.
eventually, like, I started when my stepdad was the coach of the team. So that made it real easy to get there.
Right. Yeah.
And then I had a 2-parent home during that time.
Yeah.
When that relationship ended, I didn't play soccer anymore.
Right.
And then never played a sport again because I was too busy getting high.
Right.
But again, did my damnedest in that arena as well. You know what I mean? If I'm going to get high, I'm going to be the best weed smokingest motherfucker that's ever existed. Because it always, like, you need to have that. You need to be given, taught, born with, whatever, that inner motivation to be better.
Yes.
To constantly be searching for, like, that doesn't mean you need to shame yourself when you fall short. And it doesn't mean you don't need to accept yourself for where you're currently at. It's saying, yes, here is where I am, but I can be better. Even if it's 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I say to myself, and this is some of my other content creator friends, I'll give you a pity party for a day.
Yes.
I'll give you your day. Because I have my pity party days. I remember when Gorilla Fin got demonetized. I probably had like a pity party about 2 or 3 days. And then wifey was kind of like, all right, like,
now what?
Now we need to figure it out.
Yes.
You don't want to go back to work. You built this platform. You built all this stuff. Like, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
So at some point in time, you have to get out of the pity party because the world's not going to then cater. YouTube didn't magically say, oh, our fault. Here's your channel back. No, it's still demonetized to today.
Yeah.
It's not ever coming back.
Yeah.
I just saw another friend that happened to him.
Jesus.
And once again, with the automation of the process,
yeah.
If the robot says no, robot says no. There's no person, there's no strings to pull.
Yeah.
So after your pity party for the day, what now?
Yeah.
Like, we have to get to the what now. We have to get stuck out of the pity party.
Because the past is the past. It happened.
Yeah,
like,
it's gone.
We gotta. What do we do to work your way out of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where the resilience of, like, here's your day pass. Yeah, look, here's your day pass.
Yeah.
All right. It starts
you should
at
do that with the kids. Like,
7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
At 7:31 tomorrow, I'm gonna need some. You ain't got to smile.
Yeah.
You ain't even got to smile, but you need to do some sort of action.
Anything
towards getting from where you are to where you want to be.
Even if it's just taking a piece of paper and brainstorming what to do next.
Oh yeah, I got a whole idea notebook.
Yes, like that is what I want for the next generation. Instead of just saying, "Oh well, that didn't work. Moving on," or "Oh, that didn't work, so that must mean that there's something about me." That the world saw and they caused me to fail. Because that's the other thing I see is we've pushed off blame onto everyone else. If I don't win, it's because of something they did. And that makes me really sad because that is taking away your ability to succeed also.
And it's a sore loser.
It is a sore loser.
Yeah. And a sore loser is like, you didn't beat me.
Yeah.
Which
I lost.
I'm very bad at that as well. And my wife had to inform me that I'm bad at that.
Oop.
And tell me, like, you're kind of stealing the joy of my victory by saying, oh, well, I did this wrong. I did that wrong. So you're taking away the, like, that person beat you.
Yeah.
It's like, you can have those thoughts. You can think, oh, I did all these other things wrong. Yeah. But for the victor go the spoils.
Yes. Yeah.
So they beat you.
Yep.
If you did all those things wrong, they still have to capitalize on all your wrongdoing to beat you.
Yep.
So you have to still hold this L.
You still got something.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, they gave you the work.
Yep.
So give them their praise.
Exactly. And I think that that's why it's so cool to see, because in our friend group, there's only a couple of us that have children. And being able to see the men show up and be men when they may have not had that much of an example growing up is amazing, because that doesn't happen very often. You know what I mean? It's full circle back to what we were talking to at the beginning. You're breaking that generational curse for your children. Yeah. You're showing up and you're being a father and you're teaching them the things that are necessary for them to live their life in a way that is not going to be easy, but is reality. Right. And you're standing up and being a good human so that they have that example.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's hard. I see it.
Yeah, it's the gray hairs are coming. It's
but you're doing it again. Like, that's the thing. It's not going to be easy. It shouldn't be if you're a good parent.
You know, and that's something. And in content creating world, you get your downswings because YouTube does this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, content creation does this.
Yeah.
And something that Luke helped me realize is all relative.
Yeah.
So when it's down for me and I'm complaining, it's also down for people who are further along.
Yeah.
Like down is down.
Yeah.
We're all down.
We're all down.
And it's like when I have my moments and I'm talking to Sheree and I'm venting or whatever, afterwards when I reflect, I'm like, name a point in your life when it was easy.
Yeah.
When it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
When it was just given to you because you showed up.
Yeah.
And I, for the life of me, cannot name a moment
Yep.
that it ever was easy. It ever was given. It was ever a freebie.
Yeah.
Even in wrestling, when I was looking, I would have a fish, which is, someone who you would think, they're like skinny fat. You're like, oh, this is going to be the easiest dub ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was not.
Yeah.
It was poked in the eye, lip got busted, couldn't even pin them, So it's like people have to stop looking at easy because even when it's easy, it still requires some work at some point.
Yeah,
you still have to do something.
You worked before to make it easy now.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
there
reaping
was
the
hard
rewards.
at some point.
Yeah. Like there's some points on you were working and it didn't look like it was going to work out, and then you did get it.
Exactly.
And it's like, this whole like, why isn't it easy? Why is it going great for this person, not going great for me? It's like, well, it's just not time for you to go great. Because what I also think some people don't realize is you have to be of a certain mind frame in a certain place to get the win that you want.
Yeah, and I think people forget that like when you level up in life, like when you get better problems, you've leveled up in life. And if you're playing video games, you've ever played one ever, each level you go up is harder.
Yeah.
Your struggles are going to be harder.
Yeah.
Your problems will be better problems, but they're going to be harder.
Yeah. Well, more money, more problems is a little real thing. When you go from being an employee to an entrepreneur, the world is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're like, hold on, I never thought about this.
Yep.
Taxes. It
Taxes.
wasn't took out of my check. The check that you never got. Like just the amount of money they just threw in your bank. There was never a check. They just threw a bunch of money in your bank account. And like, so yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. I'm fearful for the kids. Try to guide them the best I can. Yeah. But it's like I told you, I was like, I don't know how to teach resilience, if that makes sense. Like, how do I teach?
They watch you. To me, from my experience, like that is where I learned most things. Mm-hmm. It's not what my respective parents said to me. It's not whatever. It's the experiences that I went through that I survived. So there's that. Yeah. And that is on a personal level. Like that's going to be their own growth journey. But most of it came from seeing how my parents dealt with situations, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah. I think seeing someone handle a bad situation is also good too, because then you...
Yes. You either learn what not to do or what to do.
Right.
One way or the other.
Because I tell people all the time, like, the way I put together what a man looks like was just from a lot of different men in my life. Yeah. Uncles, cousins. Yeah. How, I had, growing up, I think I had 3 successful marriages I was around. Yeah. And so I looked at what these husbands did. Whether it was the super quiet guy who never really said something, to the workaholic who, whenever he would get off work, would take my aunt's car, fill it up with gas, put money in there for her, because he just worked 14 hours straight. Yeah. He hardly sees them, but he was at every family event, every birthday, every church event. Even though he might not have been there from the day to day, when it was called upon him, he was there.
Yes.
So it's just like these taking... Of course, TV played a part. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think
Uncle Phil, come on, Uncle Phil.
Now that was a good husband.
Oh man, Uncle Phil was the guy. He
cherished his wife very much so, as he should have. Good Lord,
and like stepped up for his nephew. Yes, that was his nephew.
That's a big deal. Mm-hmm. He financially supported this kid, had him move into his house, and took on the role of a father. I mean, that is a huge calling, and you kind of miss out on that in the show until you get older and you're like, damn, that's a lot. That wasn't just like him hanging out with him and letting him sleep over like a slumber party. Like, that's a huge deal.
When he got in trouble, he was there to bail him out of jail, to check cops who were being crazy. Like, he was always there. Yeah. And what I find the crazy part to me is even when his father came in there to play show up dad and let him down, Uncle Phil was still there to hold him up. He was still there
to pick up the pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Even though, like, they had a little bit of a falling out.
Yep.
Because, once again, Uncle Phil did what a lot of parents do. You try to protect your children from the train. You can see the trains coming. You know the story.
Yeah.
but you want to protect them, and they don't want to be protected. They want to get hit by the train.
Yeah,
and
you gotta let them.
You gotta let them get hit by the
Yeah.
train, which sounds crazy. Like, no, you don't need to be. Look, I'm trying to tell you, but hey, maybe you need to let it get hit by the train.
They might learn something from it.
But still, let them get hit by the train, and still held them up. So it's like Uncle Phil was like a big key to what being, even though he was a TV dad.
Yeah.
What being a dad. TV dad. Yes. Well, very well written. But being a man, being a dad, being the one in a family, being the head of a household, like putting all that together from real life experiences, fictional characters, it kind of just helped me. Still had a lot to figure out. Biggest thing is communicating properly.
Ooh.
Which is always difficult. Fighting fair, communicating properly.
Yes. Yeah.
Understanding your partner, understanding your triggers.
Yes.
Understanding.
Because your triggers are your responsibility.
Yep.
They are not the other person's.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, that gives you so much power back if you realize that.
When they're like, why don't you want to talk about it? Look, I need a day.
Yeah.
I need a day.
Yeah.
I know I should have told you I need a day.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if I would have opened up that can of worms, it would have set something else off, and then we would end up arguing.
Yeah.
But now I've had my day. I'm ready to sit here. We can have a mature conversation about it.
Yep.
I'm not going to raise my voice. Because that's something me and Sheree talk about all the time. We've never really, like, fought in front of kids. There's never been a bunch of hooping. Like, now, we do have spirited debates where we're literally talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the household.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's important, though.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, to see your parents disagree and be able to talk to each other still.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I think that is extreme. That teaches them how to have those conversations with other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's teaching your kids how to disagree with someone and still love them, which is a very hard skill to learn.
Yeah, because, like, people sometimes, I think we have to agree on everything to be loved. And it's like, no, we can.
No.
Me and Terry, boy.
Yeah.
Me and Terry go at it on something. And I love Terry to life. Like, but we just, you know, me and Terry have always had different looks on life.
Yeah.
And I'm a very resilient, you can overcome this, that, and that. Terry's like, yo, it is what it is. I'm like, nah, it ain't always it. So we oftentimes, and he'll even say it, which I always know that's our trigger. If Terry say, yo, we just have to agree to disagree.
Yep, he's done.
That's it.
Yeah.
If I keep going now, it's not going to be beneficial.
No, it's not going to give either one of you anything to think about after the conversation.
Right.
It's just going to be bad.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, and I always tell people when you go picking a fight, think like, is it worth dying on this hill?
Exactly. Like, you care about this person, even just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to want to push it so far to where you can't talk to them again.
Right. Because I feel like in all the years I've known my friends, me and Terry were the only ones who I ever thought for a second it might have went that far.
Yeah.
I don't remember why it might have went that far, but it was just like a moment like, hold on, wait.
Are we going to be friends anymore?
is this going like they just
Are we going to fight?
Yeah, and I was like, because I don't want it to go here.
Yeah.
You know, it was like one of the things like, I'm just going to backpedal.
Well, Terry knows he's feisty too.
Yeah.
He's a feisty guy.
Yeah. Like we both know like we're kind of feisty.
Yeah.
And everybody else is kind of just chill. Like, you know, we don't really, we find like that middle ground and we kind of just hang out there a lot of the times. But me and Terry, I think just because we see things differently.
Yeah.
We oftentimes, we don't mean to clash, but just the difference of seeing things is going to naturally cause a clash.
Exactly. And again, like full circle, what we talked about, if you've had different lives than someone else, you're probably never going to be able to understand why they think the way they think, why they do what they do, why they live the life they live. Even if you do agree with them, it's going to be different.
Yes.
Just because of your lived experience and what you've been through and your current circumstances. I mean, that is how it is. And you can talk to them and try to understand, but I'm never going to be able, again, like I'm never going to be able to understand someone that was raised in a 2-parent home. Yeah. It's mind boggling to me. Like, I ask questions to Luke about it all the time. Cause I'm like, that's interesting. Like, is that how it feels? And he's like, yeah, I don't even think about it. And I'm like, oh.
What is a privilege is invisible to the ones who have it.
Yes. And I think that's the whole reason why talking to people is so important, especially people that you disagree with. Yeah. Knowing when to stop, obviously, like respecting another person's boundaries and not, alienating them as a friend. But that is why I love having these conversations.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I love having people on, because that is what makes the difference in the world. Like conversations make a difference.
Not trying to turn someone. Like I said, when I talk to people,
Yeah.
because I love playing devil's advocate on a lot of
Yes.
stuff, but I do it just because I like the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't do it because I agree with something or this, that, and that. I think people who know me know my stance on a lot of
Yes.
different things.
Yeah.
I do it just for the conversation because, like, let's just get some understanding here.
It helps each other grow.
Yeah, I'm not trying to prove you right and I'm wrong. I'm just trying to.
I just want to look at it.
Yeah, I just want to see your stance.
Yeah.
Like, I want, because I think a lot of times people say things, and until it's like laid back out to them, they don't know how ridiculous it sounds.
Yep.
Or they don't see the hypocrisy in the statement.
Yes.
So once they can see it, they're kind of like, oh, now I can see why you would say this, that, and other. It's like, yeah, because that what you're saying, you know,
don't make no
sense.
Yeah.
Good point. I saw a TikTok. I don't know if it was real or not, but the woman was saying how her parents, she took them to court, sued them because she wanted them to take care of her. She was awarded $5,000 a month. Then it got reversed. And so she was like, you know, now she doesn't get the money. How is she supposed to survive? Now keep in mind, she's doing this from a car. So clearly you're doing okay in life. You're not doing this from a box on the side of the street. She's like, how am I supposed to survive in life? This isn't fair because I didn't ask to be here. And so Cherie's point was, she makes a valid point. She didn't ask to be here. And I'm like, so she should just not exist? That's better? She said, well, she didn't ask to be here. I'm like, so you're saying like the lack of consciousness or existing is better than not existing and having consciousness?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of a weird place to be. And then once again, this is I was like, there's always a way to go back to non-existing.
Yeah. If she wants it,
go
take it,
I'm
sister.
like, you're in a car. I was like, there's pretty much a tree somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Which is a terrible thing to say.
Or find a hose. Or it's not, though, if that's the argument she's making.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if existing to you is so bad.
Yeah, don't exist anymore.
Not advocating for it.
No. Yes,
I'm just
you're trying to play into her delusion.
Yes,
you're showing her, hey.
The door's always open.
Yeah.
It's never locked.
Yep.
You don't need a key. There's no guard in it. That door is readily available.
Yeah.
Sadly, 24/7. And we try to get people to not take the door.
Exactly. But what she's really saying is, I feel disadvantaged and I feel like I deserve more.
Yeah. $5,000 a month
That's
for existing?
Ridiculous.
Existing.
Yeah.
And you
I
think
don't
your
know how that
parents
got through the court system.
And
That's
I was like,
crazy.
and you think your parents who have aged.
Yeah.
So even if, let's say they were making $10,000 a month in their 20s.
Yeah.
And they kept that going to their 40s. You clearly look like you're in your 20s. So now your parents are probably in their 50s to 60s. You're still thinking that they still have the bills to need $10,000 or $15,000 a month? Yeah. No, it's supposed to die down.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to retire. They're supposed to need less money at the end.
Yeah.
And here you come, well, I didn't want to exist. You don't know what it's like to not exist, because not existing is not to be aware of anything.
Exactly. You will never experience that unless you kill yourself.
Right. Yeah. And even then, it's even experience because you don't exist.
You don't know.
It's a paradigm. It never solves it. You'll never know what it's like on the other side. And then it's like, say, well, what do I do now? And it's like, how can I not tell you to take the door that's not always unlocked, that has no guards, that is readily available 24/7, and then we beg people not to take.
Yep. It goes back to there was something missing in her life.
Had to be.
You know, like whether they were aware of it or not, because it isn't always the parent's fault, but there's always an amount of awareness there.
Yeah.
But I think that is why it's so important for two-parent households and for people to raise their children, to actually raise them.
Right.
And I appreciate you taking time out of raising your children to come here on the podcast.
School is a great thing. Pre-K, school, love it. Both programs, amazing.
Because we've been trying to not playing phone tag. We're playing like appointment tag. Yeah. Because you had to cancel and then I had to cancel and then you had to, and I'm like, I totally understand. And your daughter's birthday was yesterday.
Yeah.
I wish you would have told me sooner, because I would never want you to miss out on that.
I forgot. Because look, she was not supposed to have a party because she had been, messing up.
That's what Cherie
but
said.
Then,
that's what it turned into.
Cherie turned into a small gathering, turns into a party.
No, but I appreciate that so much. As someone who didn't have a dad at quite a few of them, I think that placing the priority on that is extremely important. And this podcast ain't going nowhere. So
Right.
I appreciate that very, very much.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
And I appreciate you coming on again. And it's
fun.
always a good conversation.
I love conversation.
Thank you. Me too. See, this is why I do this.
Right.
And if you like conversation too, please leave us a comment. Keep the discussion going in the comments below. Tell us about your experience, whether you agree or disagree with us. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.